Hi, I'm Joe, and it's feeding time at the zoo. This zoo. What do you feed your fish? Well, I'll tell you what I feed mine. Time for another fish file.
Fish, fish, fish file.
When it comes to feeding your fish, you go to the pet store and it seems like there are so many choices of things to feed your fish. And you're right, there are very many choices. Well, I'm going to tell you what I feed my fish. This has been working for me. I encourage you to experiment a little bit, see what your fish eat. So I feed my fish first thing in the morning and I give them some good old Tetramin flakes. And then I also throw in some brine, frozen bloodworms. This is a dry food. So Tetramin flakes, frozen brine, frozen bloodworms. And I think that giving your fish some variety is really good. It gives them some different minerals and different things in their diet. And I found that after a few weeks after I started the bloodworms a couple of years ago, that the colors, especially on the neon tetras, really started to come out. I could actually see a difference. Now, how often do you feed your fish? Well, I feed my fish the flakes in the morning, and then I've started, because these Buenos Aires tetras, these big guys, they tend to eat a lot. If I'm home in the afternoon or when I come home after work, I'll throw a little bit more flake in there and they'll eat it. So the idea is to feed them only so much as they'll eat in just a couple of minutes, as much as they'll eat in one session, if you will. If you find that there is fish food floating around after you feed them, you've probably fed them too much. Once they stop eating, that food will sink to the bottom of the tank and it will decompose and it will throw your chemistry off. It'll also leave some food for your bottom feeders, but you don't want to overdo it. Now, when I go to bed at night, I throw in a few sinking pellets, shrimp pellets. And what these do is they sink to the bottom. These were originally for my pleco, who I had to get rid of because he was much too big, but he was a big bottom feeder. I've got 2 Corridor's catfish in there. These are for them too. And I also throw in 1 sinking wafer, an algae wafer. This sinks to the bottom, and that gives a little bit more balance to the diet. It's good for the catfish as well, something they can gnaw on. Something that's really interesting that these Buenos Aires tetras, I had never seen this in any other fish I've kept, but they will actually go after the pellets. When the pellets are sinking down in the tank at night, they'll actually go for them. They will hold them in their mouths. They will swim around with the pellets in their mouth. It's kind of funny to watch, but I had never seen fish do that. So now, once a week, as a treat, I feed my fish frozen brine shrimp. Now, you may have seen that frozen food section in your local pet store, that freezer full of all kinds of different frozen foods. Friends, don't be afraid to take a look in there. Something simple, these little cubes of frozen brine shrimp. What I do is I fill up this little cup with hot water and throw in the cube of frozen brine shrimp. Give it just 4 or 5 minutes, maybe stir it around a little bit. That thaws it out. Everything's loose. The shrimp are all, they're not in a block of ice anymore. And then I just pour it in the tank. The fish love it. It gives them some variety. It gives them a different kind of food. And I really believe that feeding your fish different kinds of food is really good. So, hey, if you have any questions about what I feed my fish or what to feed your fish, if you have any comments, I'd love to hear. What do you feed your fish? I'd love to hear. This has been Fish Files with Joe. Hit that like button, punch that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next Fish File.
Fish file.